Manchester United coming up with what feels for them, Gary, like a huge win.
Huge win, and I don't know whether you were at that game with me pre-Christmas, Rob, where Ruben Amorim's the manager of Manchester United playing against 10-man Everton, and Everton go and win 1-0, and it feels like a complete and utter turnaround from that moment. Despair that night, you're thinking, where are Manchester United going? I remember being incredibly frustrated on commentary. I mean, Manchester United haven't played well tonight at all in the game. In fact,
so after watching that analysis, let's be very clear about one thing. This was not a pretty Manchester United performance, but it might be one of their most important wins of the season. Because if you rewind to that pre-Christmas defeat against Everton under Ruben Amorim, the mood around this team was despair. People were questioning everything: the system, the players, the direction of the club. It felt like United were drifting.
They were really poor in the quality. Maybe Everton's sort of what will be compact defensive shape, maybe having 10 days, 2 weeks off, just lost a little bit of rhythm. But what they have done is they've...
Fast forward to tonight, they didn't play well. The quality wasn't there. The tempo wasn't there. Breaking down a compact Everton side? Still a problem. Against deep blocks, United continue to struggle with rhythm and sustained passing. But here's the difference. They dug in. They kept a clean sheet. And sometimes, when you're building momentum, that's more important than dominance.
Dug in, and they've kept a clean sheet, which is a good thing. Good thing for Lenny Yoro, I think, coming in, because I think Martinez, before the game, when you heard that Martinez wasn't...
The goalkeeper was absolutely crucial. Not because he made world-class, highlight reel saves, but because of his composure. Calm under pressure. Commanding on corners. No panic. And when a team is under constant set-piece pressure like that, your keeper's personality sets the tone. Then look at the midfield balance. Kobbie Mainoo alongside Case Moreau looks right. It looks natural. Mainoo looks like himself again. Confident on the ball, composed, intelligent. That pairing gives United structure.
Playing, you thought that could be a problem. Obviously, United's back four has been quite solid in the last couple of weeks. The goalkeeper, I thought, was my man of the match tonight. Not necessarily because he made loads of amazing saves, but everything...
And we have to talk about the tactical evolution. Has the system tweak made the difference? Possibly. Has stubbornness cost Amorim earlier in the season? Maybe. But what we're seeing now is a side that looks more balanced and more pragmatic. And that counterattacking goal? That's where this United team still looks most dangerous. Quick transitions. Direct. Ruthless. They're now fourth. On the shoulder of Aston Villa. Pressure from Liverpool behind them. Palace coming up next. It wasn't champagne football, but it was 3 massive points. And sometimes, in a top 4 race, that's all that matters.
Saying there that obviously it's the first season in the Premier League, and you made a couple of good saves, you're dealing with things with your hands, your good composure.
Now let's flip this for a second, because Everton will feel sick tonight. 10 corners, constant pressure, second balls dropping, and not one clear chance created from that spell. That's where games like this are won and lost. When you dominate territory and set pieces, you have to make it count. And they didn't. But that's also credit to Manchester United.
I've said it before, I'm not going to say it again, people will get tired of me saying it. I do think it's the most difficult position and most scrutinised position in English football, and I admire...
And once again, it comes back to the goalkeeper. Because in English football, especially at a club like Manchester United, that position can swallow you whole. The scrutiny, the noise, the expectation. One mistake and the crowd feels it.
I had my concerns when he came in. I thought, why would you take a chance with a goalkeeper who's young, who's not got the pedigree, who's played in a different league, who's going to come to Manchester United? He could...
But what stands out about this young keeper isn't flashy saves. It's order. It's calmness. He catches when he should catch. He punches when he should punch. No panic. No anxiety. And when Old Trafford senses composure behind them, the whole back line breathes easier.
Eat him up, and it is early, but he looks like he's got the temperament, and he's got the technical quality, and he's doing the right things.
He didn't just keep a clean sheet. He controlled the atmosphere. Now let's talk about the match winner, Sesko, because this is where things get interesting. Under Ruben Amorim, he looked unsure, a little timid, a little upright, not quite imposing himself physically. But now, there's aggression in his game.
And he holds the ball when he should hold it. He punches when he should punch it. But even when he punches, it's not one of those wild punches. It's just a solid sort of like, everything seems under control.
There's intent. That celebration wasn't just joy. It was a message. Start me. 3 big goals in 3 important games. Fulham, West Ham, and now this. All in matches where United weren't at their best. And that counterattack?
And I like order in my goalkeepers. I don't like anything that's frantic, that demonstrates anxiety to a crowd. Because if you do that at Old Trafford, that's Stretford then behind you at one end.
That is Manchester United heritage. Devastating, direct, ruthless. The kind of goal that reminds you what this club has always been about at its most dangerous. He's 6 feet 4 inches. He's powerful. He's gaining confidence. And if he keeps delivering moments like this, he won't just be knocking on the door. He'll be kicking it down.
Right, but if teams are going to sit deep against you, which I think, to be fair, West Ham did, Everton did, Crystal Palace are likely to maybe do on Sunday, then maybe Sesko's a bit more of a...
That goal right there. That is Manchester United at their absolute best. 5 or 6 seconds. Clearance. 1 killer pass. Burmo at full speed. Sesko's run. Bang. Bottom corner. That's not build-up football. That's not breaking down a low block with 25 passes. That's United heritage, devastating counterattack.
He's got a lot more presence and maybe it'll suit him. So I think he starts Sunday and he deserves it. A lot of pressure. I just said before about the biggest pressure, I think.
And here's the reality. This team right now is a far better counterattacking side than they are a possession-dominant one. When teams sit deep, West Ham did it, Everton did it, Palace probably will. United struggle with rhythm. But give them space, they can destroy you.
In English football, I think he's a Manchester United goalkeeper, but not far behind that would be a striker who comes for big money to United. Because if you don't score goals, and it was saying back in my day, people think...
Now let's focus on Sesko, because this feels like a turning point. 3 massive goals. Fulham, West Ham, Everton, winners, equalizers, big moments. You cannot keep a striker out of the team when he's delivering like that.
That the pressure was just applied to players here. When Andy Cole didn't score for a long time and Diego Forlan didn't score for a long time at United, there was big pressure building on those players. Teddy Sheringham in his first...
And yes, there's always that danger. You become the super sub, the impact player, the guy managers save for tired legs and open spaces. But Sesko isn't a super sub profile. He's 6 feet 4 inches. He's powerful. He's starting to impose himself physically. The confidence is rising. The aggression in that celebration, that wasn't random.
A season at Manchester United when he came in for Eric Cantona, he got absolutely hammered. So I think that when you come in as a striker with a big price tag, you've got...
That was a statement. Play me. And let's not forget, being a Manchester United striker is brutal. Just ask Andy Cole. Ask Diego Forlan. Ask Teddy Sheringham in his first season. If you don't score, the pressure builds fast. The noise grows louder. Sesko arrived with a price tag. New league.
To deliver, and he's starting to deliver. He really is.
Is there a danger that you make yourself too useful in doing it from the bench, that a manager will keep you back for when it's...
New pace. And early on, he looked slightly awkward, slightly unsure. But now, he looks stronger, more confident, more decisive. 8 goals already. 11 games left. If he hits double figures in his first season, after everything this team has gone through, that's a success. Sunday against Crystal Palace? He has to start. Because momentum in football is everything. And right now, Sesko has it.
Losing 2-0, but yeah, I've been here twice and seen them beaten twice. I actually thought tonight they were game, they were dogged, they were organised, they got beaten by a sensational goal.
Now let's zoom out, because this result isn't just about one goal. This is about the Champions League race. A few weeks ago, we were saying Manchester United had no chance. They couldn't get over the line in key moments. They'd play, dominate spells, and drop points. But now, they're winning when they play well, and they're winning when they don't.
From a counter-attack the full length of the pitch, and it was always going to be about one moment or quality or one mistake. I think that what David Moyes, I think at the end of the season...
That's the shift. Villa and Chelsea dropping points. Liverpool scraping wins. European distractions kicking in for other clubs. Meanwhile, United have one focus, the league. No midweek travel. No rotation headaches.
Will just want a higher contribution from his board and the ownership around, he needs some players, doesn't he? Because I think what he's getting out of these players here and the position they are in the league and the point.
And momentum in a bizarre season like this is everything. Right now, United aren't just in the race. they're in pole position. Third or fourth feels realistic. And considering where they were after sacking a manager and looking completely lost, that turnaround is massive.
Totally have. Is absolutely fantastic. Because out on that pitch, it's not a spectacular team. It's not a spectacular. They've got a very good set of pros.
But let's give Everton credit too. They were dogged, organized, committed. You cannot question their effort. Territorially in that second half, they probably shaded it. The pressure was real. The corners kept coming. The scrambles in the box were intense. But here's the difference at this level.
Who put a real shift in, and that, to be fair, is a great quality. You can't criticise any of them lads out on that pitch tonight. Now, I always say, if you're an Everton fan leaving this stage...
Quality. One moment of elite execution at one end wins it. And Everton just don't quite have enough of that. David Moyes is squeezing everything out of this group. They work. They fight. They run. But they need 3 or 4 players with real attacking quality.
They'll be really disappointed. But what they'll never do is question the actual sort of what would be commitment of the players out on that pitch. You can't. You can see they're giving everything. But
someone who can turn territory into goals. Someone who can make that decisive pass or finish that half chance. Because commitment keeps you competitive. Quality moves you up the table. Manchester United had it tonight. Everton didn't. And in tight Premier League games, that's the margin between pushing for the Champions League and just fighting respectably.
With a couple of different clubs.
What I'm not going to start doing now is start sort of laying into Petr Cech.
No.
I mean, I think Petr Cech's a sensational goalkeeper.
Let's finish with 2 big talking points, Everton's approach and the goalkeeper debate. First, Everton. When a young goalkeeper comes into the Premier League, every team asks the same question. Can he handle it? Can he deal with bodies around him? Can he deal with crosses under pressure? Can he deal with physical chaos in the 6-yard box?
For a long time at Chelsea, I wouldn't have him above Schmeichel. I don't think I'd have him above David Seaman.
And tonight, Everton tried. Corners, pressure, bodies crashing the goal line. They tested him physically. They tested his temperament. And he passed. That's a huge moment. Because now, other teams look at that and think, maybe that weakness isn't there.
So would they be your top 3 in whatever order?
I'm trying to think, to be fair. You've caught me a little bit off guard in a sense.
I can tell you again, looking at Jamie Carragher's list.
But from Everton's perspective, this is where the frustration lies. They have effort. They have organization. They have commitment. What they don't quite have is that spark. If they had a Burmo, if they had that one explosive attacking difference maker, if they had just a little more quality in open play, this game might have flipped.
Who's he got?
Well, David Seaman is actually number 9 on his list. Yeah,
he's got 8 better goalkeepers than David Seaman.
Yeah, so he's got.
Well, he can't have seen David Seaman that much or played with him.
David Moyes is extracting the absolute maximum from this squad. They're nowhere near relegation trouble, which is progress compared to recent seasons. But to jump from solid to competitive for Europe, that requires investment. That requires backing. Now, finally, the goalkeeper debate.
I mean, David Seaman was a sensational goalkeeper in my mind. I mean, I was lucky enough to play with both Schmeichel and Seaman at the same time. And at that time, they were both...
When we talk about Premier League greatness, names like Schmeichel, Seaman, Cech, Alisson, De Gea, they all come up. But for me, it starts with Peter Schmeichel. Presence, authority, big moments, titles. David Seaman, composure personified, made the difficult look easy behind that famous Arsenal back four.
Battling it out for who was the number 1 in the Premier League. And it was close. It was close. I mean, I say that without hesitation. David Seaman was a...
And then the modern era. Alisson's impact at Liverpool, De Gea's shot-stopping brilliance, Courtois' overall quality. But here's the key thing. Great goalkeepers don't just save shots. They control environments. And tonight, Manchester United's young keeper did exactly that. Calm, composed, unbothered. And in a tight top 4 race, sometimes that mentality is the difference between pressure and progress.
Goalkeeper. Yeah. Am I up to number 7 or 8?
I've lost track. We could have...
All right, let's settle this goalkeeper debate properly. When we're talking about Premier League history, not careers overall, not what they did in Spain or Italy, but strictly what they did in this league. The order matters.
Done with writing these down,
could you give
couldn't
me
we?
some preparation here for this?
Oh dear.
Oh, Peppa Pig at number 8.
For me, number 1 is Peter Schmeichel. No hesitation. Presence. Titles. Big game mentality. Joint second, David Seaman and Edwin van der Sar. Different styles, but both defined eras. Seaman's composure behind that Arsenal back four. Van der Sar's calm authority in a dominant Manchester United side.
So you've gone Schmeichel undoubtedly as your top.
Schmeichel, Seaman, Van der Sar, Cech, Alisson.
Then comes Petr Cech. Longevity, consistency, clean sheets, an elite standard for years. After that, we move into the modern era. Alisson and Ederson change the role entirely. Distribution.
Alisson,
Yep.
Ederson, Courtois.
Yep.
That's 7.
Yep.
Playing out from the back. Sweeper-keeper influence. They redefined what managers expect. Courtois, outstanding at Chelsea. But if we're honest, his greatest work came after the Premier League. Then you start debating names like Jens Lehmann. Invincible season, league winner.
And then,
I mean, does Donnarumma come into it? I mean, if...
well,
Or
yeah,
not.
it's your choice. Has he been here long enough?
No. I mean, but obviously, if you're putting him into...
Joe Hart. Huge impact during Manchester City's rise. Pepe Reina. Consistency at Liverpool. Jordan Pickford. Long England career. Resilience in struggling Everton teams. And this is the key point. Are we judging trophies? Are we judging peak performance? Are we judging longevity? Or are we judging impact?
The
Yeah.
goalkeepers. I'm trying to think of the goalkeepers that we've had in the league. Jens Lehmann?
Yeah, he's not on.
Because greatness in the Premier League isn't just about medals. It's about influence. It's about moments. It's about how you controlled games from your penalty area. And maybe that's why tonight's conversation started in the first place. Because when a young goalkeeper walks into this league and shows composure under pressure, that's the first sign. That's how legacies begin. And who knows? In 10 years, maybe we're adding another name to that list.